our historical moment. The US empire right now is at a critical moment. We're bogged down in Ukraine. It's a war of attrition that our empire cannot win and cannot sustain forever. Israeli tail is wagging the US dog. It's about to drag us into a larger war in the Middle East. And likewise, we cannot win that war. The United States could not defeat Afghanistan or Iraq. Iran is 3 times the size of Iraq, both in population and in geographical size. China continues to surge ahead technologically, and we continue to try to provoke China into war, but it's a war that we cannot win. Not only that, as the United States continues to wage war after war on other nations, innocent nations in the global south, nations in the Middle East, Russia, China, and lay sanctions on nation after nation, we alienate most of the world and we unite most of the world against us. The United States is trying to arm Taiwan. It's encouraging noises of declaring independence for Taiwan, escalating tensions between the two Koreas. It's joined South Korea, Japan, the Philippines, Australia, and New Zealand as treaty allies. And it's bringing NATO forces into the Pacific region doing joint military exercises along the coast of China. Its formed alliances called AUKUS, the US, the UK, Australia, the Quad, India, Japan, Australia, and the US. It's developed a system called Link 16, which is a tactical military data link that it's a network basically connecting all of these nations together the same way NATO communicates and acts together as a whole in war games. But most of these war games show that even with all these forces, the US cannot win a conventional war with China. China has missiles, drones, aircraft, large modern navy, and other forces capable of defending itself and destroying even our combined forces. If we cannot win, what else can we do? Will we go nuclear? There has been some talk in high places about using a tactical nuclear weapon, but that risks going straight up the nuclear escalation ladder. So we're at a very pivotal moment. The US is stretched thin across the world, fighting a war in Ukraine, Middle East. Now we're trying to drum up a war in Asia. We cannot sustain this. And yet we still seem determined to do it. In July of 2023, US Air Force 4-star General Mike Minihan said, quote, "My gut tells me that we will fight in 2025. That's only a year from now, less than a year in terms of months." Hillary Clinton once said, quote, "I don't want my grandchildren to live in a world dominated by the Chinese." We have this fear that either we dominate the world or someone else will dominate the world. That's a paradigm called the zero-sum game. Either you're the conqueror or you are the conquered. But all world empires have always proved unsustainable. In the end, they do exactly what we're doing now. They overreach. Everybody that they conquer resists. Eventually, they cannot maintain their empire and they crash. That's exactly where we're heading. The next 2 to 5 years will be pivotal. As General Minahan said, my gut tells me we will fight in 2025. This means that we're approaching a critical period in the next 2 to 5 years in which either the empire will create World War III or the empire will have to slowly, step by step, give way. This is being accompanied by a new McCarthy period at home where you have, white code pink protesters protesting Gaza being told by Nancy Pelosi, go back to China where your headquarters is, even though code pink has no connection to taking orders from China. A black group, the Uhura 3, has been tried for being connected to Russia. They've been around 50 years, and what they've been saying is the same thing that they've been saying for 50 years. They're not tools of Russia. They're their own independent political force stating their own independent ideas. Chinese Americans who welcomed Xi Jinping at the APEC conference were accused of attacking Tibetan and Hong Kong protesters. But eyewitness reports says it's the opposite. So the empire is reaching a very critical time period. And it's very important that we continue the work that we are doing to protest and resist the empire. But we have to go beyond just protest, beyond just talking about what we don't want and what we fear. Beyond our fear, we need to look at a positive vision that the United States and the rest of the world could become if we chose a different course. China's vision of a multipolar world in which no single nation, not China, not the US, not Russia, or anyone else dominates, is a vision that not only China, but the global South, Russia, Iran, all of these countries are coming more and more to look at and accept as a positive vision that everybody can work together to produce a better world. All nations have to cooperate if we want to survive global challenges such as climate change, pandemics, and prevent nuclear war. And if such a world came into being, a multipolar world in which no single nation dominates and all nations work together to mitigate global challenges, if we produce such a world, all nations and all people could prosper and thrive together. And the US would be in a very good position. We're a large nation with good natural resources, advanced technology, an educated workforce, easily defended borders. If we got our act together and just behaved like a normal nation, we could thrive in such a world. It's very important to avoid World War III, promote a positive vision of the world we do want. And if we and the rest of the world together promote that vision, we can all live in a historic global turn towards the beginning of a better world. Let us be aware of our fears. Let us talk about our fears, but let us also look beyond our fears and promote a positive vision that we can all move forward with. Thank you.